My daughter didn't go into cannabis psychosis like a lot of the other parents, children, young adult children have. So it's just a little different of a story to tell. My daughter started with the synthetic THC vapes at a really young age. She was 14. She could have even been 13 at the time. And just were, the impact of that and how it changed, like, I believe it negatively impacted her mental health. And it's something we're still struggling with to this day. The addiction from it, it just made her mental health challenges even worse. And then I think you get into the addiction of it. And then eventually she even ended up in jail because of it. And just turned 18, never had a speeding ticket, straight A-B student, just never been in trouble with anything pretty much. And she ended up in jail because she was in possession of a synthetic THC vape, which you can buy on every street corner in Texas. Anytime you have THC in a vape device and it's converted into the substance that can be smoked in a vape device, that falls into a class 2 felony drug possession in the state of Texas by law. And most people don't even know that. I didn't know it. I was shocked to find that out the hard way. So if what is in that device is greater than 2% THC, that's what makes it a felony. And it's not plant-derived THC at that point, according to the law. It is not plant-derived THC. It has been molecularly and chemically modified to be able to be served in that device, which places it into a different drug class, making it a felony. My first sign was when she was a freshman in high school. She's a great kid, very happy, lots of friends, played competitive volleyball, competitive cheer, just happy as can be. I mean, teachers would call our house all through her school saying, "We are so glad to have your daughter in our class. She is so happy. She's so good with all of making friends and makes everyone feel happy around her in the classroom. She's just a joy to have." So we go from that, and then her first semester in high school, I get called up to the school to pick her up because she had a panic attack in her Spanish class. Because she had to get up and speak or get up and answer a question or something in the classroom, and she could not be calmed down. And I got called to the school, and I'd never seen my daughter like that. I'd never seen her in that state of just extreme anxiety, paranoia, visibly shaking, tears, and could not be settled. And it was the most bizarre thing I'd ever witnessed from her. So that alerted me, and I took her immediately to a psychologist to be evaluated, because after that, then there were some other things where she just seemed to have like a lot of anxiety, wanted to be alone. And I took her to a psychologist to be formally and professionally evaluated. And that was a process, trying to find the right therapist, get the evaluation done. And then in the meantime, like just catching, paying attention. And then I'm catching her like when she is with her friends, the kids are all up there and I'm finding the devices, the vapes, they'll leave them out or they're just like locked in the room. And so I start observing, and I'm very observant, and I'm very curious, and I'll go through the room and try and find what I'm looking for, almost like a detective. And so I start realizing, like, on occasion, I'm catching them doing this, like smoking weed or whatever. And then that's correlating with all of this anxiety and the depression. And then the depression seems to be getting worse until one night she texts me at 3:00 in the morning with just 3 words, "Mommy, help me." And I didn't see the text because I'm sleeping. And I wake up in the morning and I read it and I see the timestamp and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, this is really serious. So now she's having like suicidal thoughts. And then I'm really, getting her with the therapist. We're getting all the information, speaking with the professionals, trying to get her some counseling, figure out how bad, is this. And just, getting her into regular therapy. And I tell the psychologist, these kids are doing this. Like, she's smoking the THC. I know she's doing it. I've caught her doing it. I'm randomly drug testing her. It's coming up positive that she's doing it. So I know she's doing it. I have the devices. I'm giving all this information to the therapist. And I'm like, what? And I'm not seeing improvement in her mental, struggles with anxiety and depression. I'm really not seeing improvement. And I'm asking the therapist, what more should we do? Like, she keeps doing this, and I know you're talking to her and trying to get her to stop doing it, and she wants to stop doing it. And her main reason for wanting to keep doing it is it's the only thing that helps her with her depression and her anxiety. But really what it's doing is it's deepening her into that cycle more and more. Every time she's doing the drug, it gives a temporary relief, and then it's pushing her deeper into the cycle where she can't break it. And then the therapist, I'm asking, should be doing a more aggressive or a different type of therapy? Should I put her in THC detox program? What should we do here? And they're just like, no, we can take care of it. We can take care of it. And this goes on for a year, 2 years, and she is getting better, but she's still using when something bad happens in her life. Her dog died, a boyfriend breakup, she'll go back to it. So it just keeps going. Every time I'm telling the therapist, she's still doing this. What should we do? And I'm listening to the therapist, and they're just, nope, you don't need to be in rehab. You don't need to, we'll just keep working on it. And then next thing you know, she ends up in county jail because she's in possession, and it's a felony charge. And now we're applying for college. She's accepted into colleges, scholarships. How do I have my daughter with a felony on her record? Now what is her life going to be like? And she's just 18 and hasn't even been to college yet. Fortunately, we hire a good defense attorney, and somehow the lab work, they just didn't, someone made a mistake in the lab, so they didn't have the evidence to prosecute. But we also did a very good job of presenting her case to the prosecutor. We had, look, this child's never been in trouble before. She does all this community service. She makes good grades. It's just a mistake. It was a bad mistake. And she's remorseful and wrote letters and character references and everything like that. But, what happens to the people that don't get so lucky? Or what if she had not been, sorry, but that was just luck, at that point. That was just really lucky. She did really good for like 3 or 4 months of not doing it at all. And then, you get into the social situations at this age, they're hanging out, drinking. Everyone is using the THC while they're drinking, all the time. I can't tell you how many kids I've had in my house, and I find their THC vapes, or I see them doing it, and it's just constant. It's almost like smoking cigarettes. To them, it's like equivalent to when I was growing up of smoking a cigarette. But it's highly addictive. The potency of the THC is off the charts. It's 5-10 times of what THC was 10 years ago. And no matter what vehicle you're using to smoke it, it's highly addictive. And labs will tell you that. Like, this isn't people making it up. These are lab reports that are taking how a package is, even what it's marked as the potency or how many milligrams or percentage, is completely contrary to what a lab report says is actually in the device. And there's nobody looking at that. And consumers don't know. They're just assuming it's the right potency, and it's not potent. So if someone says, oh, it's not addictive, that's fine. Stop. Why are you doing it then? Stop doing it. Look at all of these smoke and vape shops on every corner in every city and every community across Texas. 8,000 plus locations. A McDonald's and a Starbucks combined have 2,500. There's 8,000 retail locations. It's in every gas station you walk into at the checkout counter. And there's a smoke shop on every corner. Of course, why would that be the case if it wasn't safe and legal? It's everywhere. Who would allow that to happen if it was not healthy? In addition to that, we live in a community, master plan, nice community in Texas. We live in the jurisdiction of Katy ISD, one of the largest, most successful school districts in the state of Texas. And there is a vape store within walking distance of every junior high and high school in my community. Walking distance. Junior high and high school. Right next to your local Walgreens and CVS. And sometimes even in plain view from the front steps of the high school. So why would anyone think this is not safe to walk in and get? And then go walk into one of the stores, and the sales associate at the cashier is like, first question, what do you need? What are you looking for? How are you feeling? Are you feeling depressed? Do you have anxiety? Okay. Oh, you have depression, anxiety? Okay, I got this for you. This one is really good. No. And this one, this is actually, this will bring you down. This will make you relax you. This will take away your anxiety. Oh, this one over here, you want to feel happy? This one's going to make you really happy. So that's how they're meeting the needs of the people that walk into the door at the vape store. So when you walk into a liquor store, does the guy at the counter say, how are you feeling? Are you depressed today? I got just the blend of vodka for you. No, they don't, because everyone knows that alcohol does not cure that. It's just known that now people might use that and have a problem with that, but you don't have retail salespeople presenting you with it as a solution to solve anxiety and solve depression and help you go to sleep at night. But the vape smoke shop stores do. The packaging, the retail associates, the internet. Oh, this is just great products. These will help you feel this way. It'll help you relieve this. And it's completely false. Whatever it does temporarily, right when you're finished with it, drives you further down whatever you were initially experiencing that you did not like. You know, the thing about, oh, it's natural. Again, like, this is not plant-derived marijuana. It is not from the plant flower itself. It has been chemically modified, at the molecular level. It has been changed and modified, and then other synthetics are used to put it in that device. So if you take any of these products and put them to a lab, we saw reports where there were, in one case, was 28 unidentified chemicals in the vape cartridge that could not be identified even by a lab. So people are ingesting this, smoking it on a regular basis, getting addicted, doing it at a higher frequency. No one really knows what is in that and what it's doing to your brain and what it's doing to your organs. The education on this topic there is no education. There is so much false, bad information selling this to our entire society across the board. The research is just not, people just don't know. The awareness is so low. But yet everybody is getting the negative impacts. But, you know, when something like this, like as a parent, something like this happens to your child, you're not out there like telling your friends, oh, guess what? My daughter's addicted to THC today, and we're really struggling with therapy, and she's going to have to go to a rehab facility. Like, because as a parent, you're not sharing that with your community. Or, I mean, I wouldn't even tell my own mother what's going on because no one really understands it, and then you don't want the negative stigma. But then if you actually do open up and share your story, all of a sudden I've got, my neighbor over here opens up and tells me her son, 21 years old, she's a medical professional, by the way. She is a highly trained ultrasound technician, specialist in radiology. Her son got cannabis-induced hyperemesis and went to the ER 2 times and was in renal kidney failure when he went to the ER. And her son almost had permanent kidney damage from the vape, doing the THC vapes so much. So then she tells me her story. And then another mom over here will tell me, yeah, my son had the same problem. Here's what happened to him. So it's so much more common than we think. But people are afraid to share their stories.
How's your daughter doing now?
She's doing good. She's getting ready to go to college. I just keep preaching to her, like, I hope you learned your lesson. I hope, don't do this at all. Like, I know everyone around you is doing it. Don't do it. I actually prefer for her to drink alcohol. I'm like, please, just drink alcohol. Don't ingest consumables. Don't smoke anything. You don't know what's in it. You just don't know. And if it hits you the wrong way and you go into cannabis psychosis, you may not come out. You may not get your brain activity back. So just please, it's just too risky. It's too risky. And then from her doing it at such a young age, I already know for all other things, she is now predisposed to addiction of whatever, alcohol, drugs, pills, at a much greater rate because she did this at such a young age. And then, you're not sure what it does to their brain development. I already see things about her decision making where she takes a lot of risk. I mean, she engages in risky behavior that most people look at and go, wow, like she would actually do that. I almost think she has permanently damaged a certain area of her brain that her decision making is just, it's off. Like, for having such negative experiences, she takes a lot of risk. I think she's better because I actually do think jail helped. It was an experience that very few people have probably had, and maybe it woke her up. And I just hope and I pray that, she recognizes it and she, for herself, knows what that does to her mental health and just doesn't do it anymore. But she's an adult. As a parent, you can't control that anymore. Like, it's out of my hands completely. I think the takeaway message is all of these vapes, this THC, is very addictive. It's very dangerous. If you see your child or you think your child is using these types of products, intervene quickly and drastically. I made the mistake of listening to a therapist who was like, oh, it's okay, we'll work on it. Talk therapy will somehow get it out of their system. Get them to a THC detox program immediately. Just do it. And do it while they're young, where you can hopefully save them from a lifetime of addiction and a lifetime of mental illness and mental struggles. I mean, we all want our kids to be happy, and we want them to be able to manage their moods and their emotions themselves and learn those skills and let their brains develop correctly so they're well-adjusted, productive, happy humans. And if they keep using the THC, they will not be. It will be a lifelong struggle for them.